Greetings, everyone. I hope you've had a safe weekend. Let's do this. Let's get some science on today. This morning should be May 4th, and we're going to look at a riddle, same as always. You got to keep some classroom format, something familiar. We're going to take a look at the outbreak with some not big surprises. Do your daily check-in on GoFormative about the riddle and the scientist of the day. And then we will take a look at biodiversity and biotic and abiotic factors today. Your riddle of the day, some scrambled words. I have ambiguous feelings about this. Let's take a look at our global totals. Oh my goodness, 3.4 million cases confirmed and even more suspected. 250,000 fatalities so far. The US, over 1 million cases confirmed and 67,365 fatalities. Arkansas is up to 3,400 with 76. They just had 2 prisoners die this week. So our cases still pretty steady, no decline. Goals of the day, answer the check-in and GoFormative. I've attached a virtual lab about an aquarium with varying oxygen and temperatures for you to play with. There is no assignment attached to it. Just reference it for your exam. Watch the videos that I've attached about biotic and abiotic factors. That's an important thing to know. And this is our last week for seniors. So salute to you, seniors, this week. So let's take a moment to talk about biotic and abiotic factors. Anything living is a biotic factor. So, for example, bacteria in the soil is a biotic factor. Nematode worms that live in the soil, biotic factors. Predators in the environment, parasites in the environment, viruses would even be considered biotic factors since they directly affect, they have DNA. Even though they're not considered a living thing, they are a biotic factor. Anything that is alive that can affect another living thing is considered a biotic factor. So if you are eaten, that is a factor. It makes sense. Predators. If you eat things, you're a biotic factor as well. The one thing that most students forget about biotic factors is that plants are alive. And since plants are eaten and plants use energy, they are biotic. They are a factor that is biotic, not an abiotic factor. So plants are alive and they grow and we eat them for energy. Of course, they are biotic, but students often forget that. It's one of the biggest misconceptions in biology is, are plants a living thing? And that's critical to remember along with everything else. Abiotic, which means anti or non-biotic, is anything that can affect a living thing. This could be shelter, temperature, water, oxygen, air quality. Anything that can actually affect the organism itself. If you are overheated, that's an abiotic factor. If you are low on air, high pollution, that's an abiotic factor as well. Soil, the dirt and the clay and the nutrients and the minerals in the soil, a biotic factor, abiotic. They affect living things. They affect their growth, like water or pollution in the water, toxic chemicals in the water. That's an abiotic factor as well. Anything that can affect the population, the happiness, the quality of a living thing, that's an abiotic factor as well. So you can have biotic factors that affect other biotic factors. Wolves eating deer, those are biotic versus biotic. But if you have a mountain range affecting how well the wolves can climb after the deer, then that is a biotic factor, the deer, affected by the abiotic factor, the mountains, which affects another biotic factor, how well the wolves can climb. These relationships can get really complicated, but scientists called ecologists study them specifically to make predictions about other populations. It's a fascinating factor, and it's one of the reasons I love biology. Back to the riddle of the day. Our riddle of the day is mixed emotions. And I have to tell you, I do have mixed emotions. I really miss my students, and I miss being in the classroom with you, but I do sincerely want to keep you all safe. I spoke with a nurse this week that talked about how when she's in the hospital, the best way to stay safe from spreading germs is to imagine every surface can burn you. So every surface is covered potentially with the virus. So she has to wear protection to prevent herself from being burned or infected with the hot zone, which is the virus. So even though Arkansas is opening back up this week, I want my students to think of surfaces that could possibly be infected with a virus to help keep themselves safe. Our governor really wants us all to stay safe, but he also wants to balance our economy. And it is up to us to do that. So still wear your protection, still make good choices, even though you're doing things. Mr. Hollingsworth is avoiding most of these things right now because I'm considered vulnerable in the population. So I do have these mixed emotions, even though I miss you guys so much. Our celebrated scientist of the day is Dr. Stephen Jay Gould. He got to come to College of Charleston, South Carolina, and lecture to us. So when I met him, he inspired me to become a biologist. He studied dinosaurs and birds and how they compare to today's ecosystems. So he studied ecology and animal behavior based on fossils and populations and evidence. And he really inspired me. And I just want to send him a thank you for all of his stories, his books, because they still bring me joy, even though he's no longer with us. But he helped inspire me to become the biologist that I am today. And hopefully someday, some of you will become biologists as well. Stay safe out there. Wash your hands. I'll talk to you Wednesday.